Greetings everyone and welcome to Let's Play some Dark Souls 2! This game just recently came out, and if you know anything about me, you probably know that Dark Souls, the original, is one of my all-time favorite video games. I've played a little bit of Dark Souls 2 so far. I'm gonna go ahead and get rolling here. But I've played a little bit of this game so far. I've tried to record it a couple times. Hopefully this one sticks. I've been having some computer troubles. So.
Maybe in a dream.
By the way, most of this video...
Forgotten land.
Most of this video is going to be cutscenes, intros, no real action. So if you want action, go ahead and skip ahead to the next video. I won't be upset. Honestly, these intro cutscenes and whatnot don't give a whole lot of the story of this game.
A place where souls may mend your ailing mind.
It is pretty badass, though.
You will lose everything. Once branded. The symbol of the curse. An augur of darkness. Your past, your future, your very light. None will have meaning, and you won't even care. By then, you'll be something other than human. A thing that feeds on souls, a hollow. Long ago, in a walled-off land far to the north, a great king built a great kingdom. I believe they called it Drang Lake. Perhaps you're familiar. No, how could you be? But one day, you will stand before its decrepit gate without really knowing why. Like a moth drawn to a flame. Your wings will burn in anguish. Time after time. For that is your fate. The fate of the cursed.
So that was fun. We still have plenty more cutscenes coming up. Yay, that's us! Except we haven't created a character yet. Woo! So, like I said, I have tried recording this a couple times. My PC, my actual desktop PC that I normally use for these sorts of things, kind of in a state of being rebuilt right now, being upgraded. So I've been trying to record this on my laptop to kind of mixed success. For whatever reason, my capture card software has crashed a couple times. Hopefully this one takes, though. So, these little dog things here, I recommend that you don't attack them. They will run away. I attacked them the first time I ever put in this game, and they swarmed me and murdered me. That's okay, though. So, very similar controls to Dark Souls 1. Oh man, they make spooky noises. I am playing in the online mode, so we will potentially run into other players and that sort of thing. There are a couple little secrets like this. You can see we went through that little area. There's going to be a big old ogre cyclops thing here. Hanging out. Yeah, that right there. Really don't want to mess with those guys if you can help it. They do that. That's okay, we didn't have any souls or anything, so it doesn't really matter. I got the gold pine resin, which I don't know that I'm ever actually going to use, but we got it. Hooray! Item. So yes, I haven't even created a character yet. Have already died. Welcome to Dark Souls. Oh, hang on just a minute. I'm going to have to edit this part out real quick. Go. So, there are a few different mechanics in this game compared to the first Dark Souls. In fact, I've never played the original kind of spiritual prequel. I mean, they're not like directly related or anything that I know of. But I never played Demon Souls. I don't have a PlayStation 3 or anything like that, so I never got around to playing Demon Souls. Apparently, they've taken some of the mechanics, a lot of the mechanics from Demon Souls, and kind of smushed them into this game. I'll be talking about those as we go. For now, we get a couple more cutscenes and a bit of character creation.
What seems to be the ruckus?
Oh my, your face. The face of the curse.
It's an undead. An undead has come to play. They all end up here. All the ones like you. You spoke to that kind old dear, didn't you?
You're finished. You'll go hollow. Yes, you'll become one of them.
Hollows prey upon men, feast upon their souls. This is the fate of the cursed.
What is your name?
Try to recall your name. We were kind of cursed and went insane, according to that opening video. So this is kind of a cool way of tying character creation into, like, the lore of the game.
At least you know your own name.
I really like the way they do this part.
Here's your reward for sharing. It's a human effigy.
Take a closer look.
Who do you think it's supposed to be?
Think back, deep into your past. Yes, it's an effigy of you.
Yay! It's an effigy of us. So who are we? What are we? You don't really get a whole lot of customization options this time around. Believe it or not, you actually got more customization options in first Dark Souls, which was kind of interesting. Kind of the theme of this is that you're not a special character. You're not unique, right? You're just one of countless cursed people who's kind of showing up in this world, this realm. And they'll be talking a bit more about that in just a moment. So, similar to the first Dark Souls, we get to pick a class and a gift. Now, starting class, again, similar to the first Dark Souls, all it dictates is what equipment and items you will start with, and your starting stats and your starting level. That's it. You can start as a warrior and easily learn magic as you level up. So it's a good foundation, but that's all it is. So I'm going to go through these real quick. Warrior starts with a broken sword, not super good, but they start with a shield. Not all the classes start with a shield, and in fact, I think Warrior is the only one that starts with a shield. They have some pretty decent armor there too. Also, if you look over on the left, there's a little description there. Battle-scarred warrior, high strength, dexterity, skilled with weapons. If you hit the back button, or I guess it would be select button on like the PlayStation controller, I'm playing on Xbox, you can see a little description of all of these stats. And they've changed these around from the first game to kind of rebalance them and make them a bit more of a choice. And you'll see what I mean when we actually start leveling up on it. But a thing to note right now is level. So all these guys have level, and they all have equal stats given their level. They all start with like the same base of whatever. I'm going to make up a number like 60 or whatever, right? And then if it's level 10, that means that they have 70, and if they're level 12, they'll have 72, right? Like stats spread across their thing. So they're all more or less equal. It's just going to be the placement, like the distribution of these different stats, these different attributes, and your starting equipment. So Knight, high HP. Knight starts with an actual broadsword, which is a pretty decent weapon to start with, and some fairly heavy armor, although no helmet, and no shield. Swordsman is interesting because they are like a dexterity-based class. They use 2 swords, and they're dex-based swords, so dexterous, like curved swords and whatnot. So that's interesting. Bandit is another dexterity-based class, kind of. Odd. It calls them out as being a high dexterity class, but they have lower dexterity than the swordsman. They start with an axe and a bow and arrow, which is kind of cool. Cleric, they start with that giant puffy robe thing. They start with, it looks like a mace and a talisman and the heal spell. You can see everything they start with over on the right there, which is kind of cool. I like that you can see that. Sorcerer, they start with a dagger. They start with a catalyst for casting spells. They get 1 spell, just the generic, magic missile soul arrow thing. Same game from the first, or same spell from the first game. And they start with some basic armor as well. Explorer is an item-focused class, it looks like. Their highest stat is adaptability, which is interesting. That's like your defense and your resistance to, I believe, like poison and curse and those sorts of things. And agility, so I think maybe they could like roll faster. I don't know, that's weird. But they start with like a ring. They start with some pretty good armor. But they start with a whole host of like healing items and other items. They got like some repair powder. They have a lockstone, like all sorts of interesting things. And then there's deprived. Start with absolutely nothing at all except that armor that you saw us wearing in that kind of opening little bit there where I walked to the house. And they start at level 1. This is the only class that starts at level 1. Everything else is, 10, 12, 13, 11, right around there. So deprived, you start with a perfectly even stat distribution. And you start at level 1, so you get total freedom and flexibility and control over your character from the get-go. Not to say some of these other things wouldn't be nice, but I'm going to start as Deprived because I think that's going to be more fun. I am planning on playing kind of a cleric-y sort of faith-based class, just like I did in my playthrough of the first game, my first playthrough of Dark Souls 1. So then we also get to start with a gift. And I'm going to go through these real quick. I already know what I'm going to take. So there's a life ring, which gives you just a tiny boost to HP, like 1 level's worth of like 30 HP or something, which is what you get if you put a level into your HP, your vitality or whatever, I think. Roughly the same. Human Effigy, which is kind of similar to Humanity in this game, serves the same function. A bunch of healing items, so we'll talk about healing items once we get rolling. You don't start with an Estus Flask right away, and once we do get our first Estus Flask, you get 1. So these consumable healing items are very important. That's kind of a changed mechanic, and it's very interesting. I kind of like it. A single Homeward Bone, we'll be picking up a bunch of those right from the start. Seed of a Tree of Giants. I believe that this is an item that will cause, if you get invaded by another person, which is possible because I'm going to be playing this online. If you get invaded, I think you can use this item and it will cause enemies in your world to attack the person who's invading you, or to react to them, to acknowledge them as another player, which is an interesting concept. Bonfire Ascetic, this will raise the strength of all enemies in the area. Very interesting idea. I'll probably be playing with those as we find some throughout the game. Much later. And then Petrified Something. So if you've ever played a Souls game, Demon Souls, Dark Souls 2, you probably would be right in guessing that the odd item out, simple petrified lump that may be of some use someday, that's probably the best one to go with. And I do actually like that, so that's what we're going to roll with. And that's it. I think we can, you can do some advanced settings. You can tweak face shape and that sort of thing. But overall, I'm happy with this character. So, yeah, we're going to just get rolling with our deprived cleric to be.
People come here for the same reason. To break the curse.
You're no different, I should think. Doesn't stand a chance.
Well, you never know.
I don't really know why we were laughing.
And trot along to the kingdom. But remember, hold on to your souls. They're all that keep you from going hollow. Oh, I'll fool you no longer. You'll lose your souls. All of them. Over and over again.
That kind of sucks. I hate losing my souls. Yeah, so that was, interesting. Oh yes, and then I have the collector's edition of this game. So you start with some interesting items right out the gate. Oops. So first things first, we have nothing. Rather, we have some things, but we don't have anything equipped. So I'm going to equip the imported armor set that we got. This is what you start the game with. This will look very familiar to you when I equip it. Hemp hood that fully covers the face, provides protection from the elements, and little more. The cursed souls who wander the lands have a strange way of ending up here, as if drawn from afar by some force. I am going to be spending more time looking at the items and reading the item descriptions. I've played a little ways into the game. I've gotten to the first boss. I've actually beaten the first boss on my own. But that's it. So everything after that is going to be completely brand new to me. So I am going to be spending some time going through the lore and focusing on that sort of thing. So let me talk about these weapons real quick. These are interesting because they all have very high weight. You can find them all later in the game. But they all have very high weight for being not super good weapons. So, like, it's not a super amazing, crazy, awesome, good thing that you start the game with these weapons. Because they're really kind of bad. Even if you look at the descriptions, right? Homunculus mace. A pole with lumps attached to it. Found in the manor in Aldia. Heavier than a standard mace, but with more effective striking owing to its hard lumps. So I think a regular mace would have like 120 or 125 damage or something like that, and this gets 130. So a tiny, tiny, tiny boost. But normal maces would also only weigh like 3 pounds, and this one weighs 6. So they're very heavy and not amazing. And then there's a staff if you want to cast spells. There's a couple of shields. An interesting thing about shields in this game... Let's go here and look at them. So first of all, I'm level 1, all my stats are 6, so I can't actually use any of these yet. We'll be getting stuff that we can use here shortly. But if you look over on the right, so the stats are kind of difficult to understand, I know. The top rightmost number, if I can move... Right there, physical damage reduction percentage, so 85%. I have not yet found a shield in this game. Granted, I've only found like 3 in this game. But I haven't found one that boosts physical damage reduction to 100%. There were a lot of 100% shields in the first Dark Souls. So far, I think 90 is the highest that I've found. Yeah, and it's the starting shield, which again, heavier than other similar shields. So there's fire damage resistance, magic reduction, fire reduction, lightning reduction, right? Those are all the same stats from the first game. Dark reduction, which I think is... I don't know if that's different from, like, holy or faith, or if it's the same, if there's only one and it's just faith and nothing else. Like dark is the holy thing. Anyway, poison damage reduction, bleed reduction, petrification reduction, which is interesting because that's a new stat, I think, because curse was sort of what petrified you and would kill you in the first game. So I don't know how these two might be different. I haven't encountered those yet. So that's horrifying. And then stability, the very bottommost. Well, I guess durability is important. We'll be talking about that as we go. Weight is pretty important, but stability is very, very important because it's how much you'll get knocked back and how much stamina you'll lose from attacks. So high stability is very, very important on shields. So generally speaking, the bottommost number and the topmost number are the ones that I'm going to care about the most, at least for now. We'll see maybe when we get into like other enemies later in the game. So that's it. We don't really have much in the way of items. I am going to kind of skip through a lot of this dialogue here. I do like talking to everyone. I will be talking to all the other NPCs. These ones, these old ladies don't really have much to say that's useful, right? Laughing and ellipses. So...
You must go on a journey without rest. Well, I suppose if you find yourself at an impasse, but if your will is yet unbroken, then you may return here to start again with a clean slate.
So I know that you can respec your character in this game, and which is odd, but there's like a super rare item that you can sometimes find. I think that's what this lady is referring to, is you can come back here and respec, redistribute all your points.
Now, go along.
Yeah, see, that's not very helpful. And then laughing. Also, let's check up these stairs real quick before we talk to that other lady. Chest. Human effigy. We will be talking about those eventually.
This is a limbo. A link between Drangleic and the outer world. Fair traveller, I know that you must have a story. Why else would you visit such a place? This lost, decayed kingdom. My name is Millibeth. The old women were once firekeepers.
Ooh.
I am here to look after them. It is what my mother did, and her mother before her, and so on. The old women were but now the fire shows signs of fading, and the kingdom is beset by hollows. The old women are sisters. I am told there was a fourth. Long ago, firekeepers were commonplace, but now they are lost, scattered to the winds.
So that's interesting. Then she'll repeat
The
that now.
old women.
Yeah. That's very interesting. I suspect, I have a hunch about the lore of this game, that this world, this game, it takes place like thousands of years after the first Dark Souls, after we rekindled the fire, the first flame, which is how the first Dark Souls ends, right? You kindle the first flame. So these little posts here, these are going to be our tutorial teaching us how to play. I am going to run through the tutorial area just because I want to get a weapon, and there's a good weapon that we can get. A couple things that you're going to notice right away. Travel. We only have one fire, but you can travel between any bonfires that you've found. You don't have to wait until later in the game. Like, that's instant. So we can just travel. Attune spells. Don't have any spells. Don't have any attunement slots. Burn. There's 3 things we can burn. We only have 1, a human effigy. Don't care about that. Also, item box. We get the item box. We start with it immediately. So that's also quite super cool. I'm going to deposit a couple of these. I'm going to keep the bound hand axe, because that's actually going to be the quickest and best of these for us to use. We will be using it soon, as soon as I can get my stats there. Don't need that. Don't need these items. Bound wooden shield, that's the good shield that I'm probably going to be using, maybe. I don't know. And then nothing else. I'm going to be depositing items in here as we go, purely so that they're not cluttering up my inventory and I can shift around and find things that I'm after a bit easier. Yeah, so firekeepers used to be commonplace. The fire is dwindling. These are the last 3 firekeepers. We think they had a 4th. There was another sister something. These ladies are all super old. So yeah, that's just kind of, I think, loosely tying it to being thousands of years after the events of the first game. We'll talk about the lore a lot more as we go and as we learn some more about the lore, as we discover things. So this is the tutorial area, by the way. I should mention that. There's going to be a couple fog walls. You can see there's one on the right there. There's like an item kind of right directly above my character's head on that ledge. There's another fog wall down there towards the left. If we just run straight through here, we'll get to the hub and we can go play the game. Like I said, I want to get a weapon because I have absolutely nothing that I can use right now. Luckily, there is a weapon not too far in here. And these hollows are all super easy to kill. So, like I said, tutorial stuff, the game's going to teach us how to play. Generally speaking, the controls are near identical to the first game. There are a few changes. Run and jump are no longer mapped to the same button, although they can be if you want them to be. I don't know, I haven't decided if I like the Dark Souls 1 having to let go, although it was almost really bad. So there's another one of those Cyclops ogre monster things down there. We absolutely cannot fight them yet, so I'm not even gonna bother. We'll come back for them eventually. You can hit enemies when they're down, so that's interesting, and I think new from the first game. And there's our first weapon, dagger. So let's equip that real quick. We also don't have any healing items yet. Souls, Black Separation Crystal, Bone of Order. Small, smooth, and silky stone that we'll be using here soon. Petrified something that we'll be using here soon. Gold pine resin gives lightning to your weapon that you have equipped. Human effigy reverses hollowing. Think of it like humanity. There we go. I'm gonna go ahead and two-hand the dagger, as you can see, just because I don't have a shield or anything, so there's really no reason not to use it with 2 hands. It gives us just a tiny bit of extra damage, lets us kill things a bit quicker. If I had a shield, maybe it'd be a different story, but not that big of a concern right now. hate these archers. Also, I like the dagger. It attacks really quite quickly. All right, life gem. Hooray! Let's equip that. I'm going to equip it here in the second slot. Life gem restores a tiny bit of HP. That is our only healing item that we have right now. We'll be getting Estus flasks before too long, but for now, this is all we got. Here we go.
You! Give us smooth! Yes, you! Give us silky!
I don't know if I showed off Snuggly the Crow in the first Dark Souls. But this one works very similar. Whoops. You give them the items that they ask for, or... So yeah, like, here's the small, smooth, and silky stone. Smooth and silky, the two things they asked for. Hooray! You can actually deposit it here, and they will trade it out for something else.
Yeah. So nice, so smooth. Yeah! Silky smooth!
So now we pick up the item,
You, give us smooth!
and it's a different item.
Yes, you! Give us silky!
So I actually don't know what that bleed stone is. Oh, it looks like it's a type of titanite. Makes equipment lacerating. An altered state of titanite. Used to make weapons lacerating or to provide bleeding reduction to shields. I haven't gotten too much into the weapon enhancement stuff. We will explore that as we get there. But it looks like you can just apply like bleeding or poison or lightning or whatever to pretty much any weapon in the game, which is interesting. Sorcerers at the Melfian Magic Academy once attempted to imbue titanite with various elements, but were said to have failed. Someone must have succeeded, though. Well, or what else would explain this stone? So just for funsies, we're going to see what happens if you deposit an item that is not not smooth and silky.
Give us smooth!
So we'll leave the gold pine resin here.
You! Give us silky! You! Not like that. No, you! Not at all!
So we'll get our pine resin back. That's not what they were after.
You! Give us smooth!
But petrified
You!
something
Give us silky!
is smooth and silky as well.
Yeah. So nice, so smooth. Yeah! Silky smooth!
I love their voices. They're so much fun. Ooh, twinkling titanite. So that's fun.
You! Give us smooth!
Let's kick this ladder down so we can climb back up here when we get more silky and smooth stones later on in the game. Here's an item we can grab there real quick. Soul of an Aimless Soldier. That's awesome. And I'm going to continue through the tutorial stuff. I think there are a few more items that we can grab in here. And if nothing else, we're killing these simple basic hollows and getting a couple of extra souls. So, nothing wrong with that. Jump across the gap here. Oh, nope. Amber herbs. Those items I have not had a chance to use yet. They're new. But they, according to their description, they restore one of your use of a spell. So if you're any sort of spellcaster, you'll know, similar to the first Dark Souls, you get a limited number of uses. So like the healing spell, you could use it 3 times and then that spell is out. This will restore presumably like one of those. Oh. Stamina recover here. Oh, this dagger has no range at all. There we go. Took a couple of hits. That's okay, though. I mean, it's just going to be fighting a lot of those hollows. There's going to be some red eye orb. There's going to be like some archers and stuff. And we're going to probably fall and hurt ourselves. Not the end of the world. If need be, I can run back to the bonfire. In fact, I might go do that. Yeah, I'm going to go do that. I'm going to go back and rest at the bonfire and get that close to half of my health back. It'll be super quick. Expect a lot of this. Like I said, I've played through the first zone. I've beaten the first boss. But everything after that is new to me. And caution is definitely the name of the game here. And you thought we were playing Dark Souls. Nope, we're playing Caution, the video game. Alright, another interesting thing is you can interact with your environment in kind of predefined areas like this. It's like I can knock over that tree and make little bridges for myself. So I'm curious to see how that comes into play later on in the game. Now there's a hole here. There's an enemy down below. Oh man, that hurts. That's why I went back to go heal myself. Also, there's an archer up here shooting at me. Of course there is. Oh. There we go. And now from here, there's that ogre. Oh boy! I forgot about you. Anyway, there's that ogre monster that we saw earlier. And there's actually another one right around the corner there. To the right, that we can't see. And either one of them will just absolutely massacre me, even if I had full health. We're gonna have to come back much, much, much later to deal with those guys. That's okay though. So, a little shortcut back for ourselves. So that's the tutorial stuff. I didn't read all the tutorial posts. They just teach you how to play. They teach you, how to sprint, how to jump, how to dodge in different directions, how to do your different attacks, two-handed, one-handed, strong attacks, light attacks, how to parry with shields and all that stuff. And as you will see, we are online. So there's 100 million, bajillion, gazillion messages and things that are going to show up. And I'm going to read all of them. I'm not actually going to read all of them. That's kind of a waste of time. But I'm going to read lots of them. The messages and the phantoms and seeing the bloodstains of other players who've died and all that stuff. Some of my favorite things in this game. I absolutely love that aspect. The sort of not quite multiplayer. I think it's amazing. I love it. So we're going to explore this area over here very quickly. Tough enemy ahead. By the way, poison. That's actually kind of true, but we're not going to fight the tough enemy. Probably not even going to see it. Be wary of enemy. So there's an NPC here at this kind of ruined tower, I guess. Interesting area. I love the environments. I love the environments in the first game. I love them in this game so far as well. Yeah, what the hell? Let's come in here and take a look. So there are these doors. You can see there's something moving back there. Those are the tough, poisonous enemies we were warned of. I'm not going to mess with those. There's a locked door here. Looks like there's maybe a lever, but there's like a statue blocking the way. Which we can't do anything about right now. Let's talk to this guy and see what's up. This is a really cool looking sword, by the way. I like that sword.
Have you business with me? The way yonder's all blocked up, you see, by this god-awful statue. Heavens above. Who thought it a good idea to put it there? Oh, I'm in quite the pickle now. See that statue? Gives me the willies. You stare at it for long enough, it starts to look alive. It just doesn't seem quite right. There are no craftsmen round these parts. Hey, you don't think a real-life person was turned to stone, do you?
Oh, that's a horrible idea.
See that statue? Gives me... it just doesn't seem... Hey.
Okay, so he's just repeating himself. Yeah, so I don't know how we're going to move that statue slash maybe probably petrified person. I actually honestly have no idea. I have not gotten that far in the brief little bit of playing that I've done off camera on my own. Okay, anyway, so that was a fun little detour. Not at all where we're actually like intended to go. There's that spire there. Oh, I love this world. I love the environments. I love it all. So good. So good. But here's a bonfire. This area is going to be kind of like our Firelink shrine, except even more so. This is an actual hub world. This is where our blacksmith is going to be. This is where we have to come to level up. If you saw when I said at the bonfire earlier, and that was not like a mistake or anything, you do not level up at bonfires in this game anymore. You can travel from them, so we can fast travel back to here at any time. Virtually anytime that we can get to a bonfire. But that lady right there standing next to that tree, we'll talk to her last, I guess. That is where we're going to level up. She will help us. I know there's this really awesome monument here. It shows how many deaths there have been worldwide. That's 22.3 or about 22.4 million deaths. If you're not playing online, if you're just playing locally, it'll show how many times you have died. And then back the letters are worn beyond recognition. So that's cool. We're going to talk to this guy real quick.
You're undead, aren't you? You have that distinct scent. The smell of irreversible fate. This is Majula. It is a kind of settlement. A place where life is almost normal. And in Drang Lake these days, there are very few places like that.
This guy is very similar to the Crestfallen Warrior from the first game. He offers kind of some tidbits, some advice, directions, like where to go next, kind of points you in the right direction from what I understand so far.
I am Solden. And like you, I lost everything, and now I'm here. You probably heard that it was possible to break the curse here. Well, that's not true at all. There's nothing here for you, me, or anybody.
He's super cheery, too. Just like a nice little ray of sunshine. Just like Solaire, the Sunbro from the first game.
Do you know much about souls?
I'm being facetious, by the way.
I'm told that the soul is the essence of life itself.
Sorry about skipping that.
Anything living, sentient or no, supposedly has one. What we call the curse is traceable to the soul. Do you see what that means? To be alive, to walk this earth. That's the real curse, right there. We undead will never die. And that's quite a predicament, really.
This guy has some issues. Jeez.
There are 4 beings in this land with giant souls.
This is actually important.
And wherever you go from here, you'll sooner or later come up against them. Each has a powerful soul. And a terrible curse.
Sounds kind of like the 4 bosses from the first game.
If that frightened you, then you ought to just give up right now. Like I have.
Yeah, so far that kind of seems like that's going to be our ultimate goal, is defeat those 4 bosses with the giant souls. Very similar to defeating the 4 bosses to get the Lord Soul pieces from the first game.
Do you ever cry out for help? The journey of an undead is long and treacherous. You'll face invaders from other worlds at every turn. If you need help, why not proclaim faith in the Blue Sentinels? When you face danger, the Blue Sentinels will come to your aid. Protection is yours, if you wish. You need only accept their kind embrace.
So, hooray, we found our first covenant. I'm going to go ahead and join it because it's the only one that we have available to us right now, and I know of no reason not to join it. My understanding of this covenant is that if we get invaded early on in the game, right, like this, other players...
That is a wise decision.
...can get summoned into our world to help us.
Weak, but the Blue Sentinels watch over us in their benevolence. Let the Sentinels cradle you in their embrace.
When this game first came out, it was having a lot of problems with Xbox Live, and their servers were not functional for the Xbox and whatnot. So I have not actually played this game online at all yet. So this is going to be new to me. So any of the covenants, any of the sort of online PvP stuff, that's all going to be brand new to me. So we're going to learn this together.
Do you feel lonely here? It suits me just fine. As I've nothing left anyway. It will grow on you, this place. Give it some time.
We've almost exhausted his dialogue. A new gesture, that's cool. So now we're gonna talk to him from this menu here. That's kind of a theme. You have to talk to people a bunch to actually get to the menu to talk to them, if that makes any sense at all. You'll see, but he's going to point us in the right direction now.
Do you see the way beyond the bonfire? That will take you to the forest of the giants. There was once a great fort, but little of it remains. You may just find something there that will be of use on your journey, but don't venture too far inside, or you might not come back.
So if you look kind of above my character's head and a little bit to the right, you'll see there's that big archway. That's where we came in. There's houses and huts and things to the right of that. Just to the left of my character's face, you'll see the bonfire there, and then there's a passageway to the left. That passageway to the left is what he's talking about. Forest of the Giants, that will be our first destination. We'll go check that out in a bit.
Hade's Tower of Flame lies beyond the far gate. In the cathedral, the Apostles of Blue gather. But the road leading there is perilous. The gate is rigged with some contraption, but how it works, I just don't know.
So Hade's Tower of Flame is that tower just kind of to the right of my character's head. And then the cathedral's that building off to the left, off in the water there. Again, one of the things I loved from the first Dark Souls game, same thing so far in the second Dark Souls game, you can get to all these places that you can see off in the distance. They're not just pretty skyboxes. That's the actual world. We will actually be going over there. I have headed over there, and I've kind of explored a tiny little bit. We can do that in the next couple of videos at some point. I don't really know what all's over there. So that's interesting. And then the way we get in is there's a gate over here in town.
Have you seen that pit, that gaping hole in the earth? I don't know what it's like down below, but I wouldn't suggest trying to find out. Besides, you'll never make it down there. Not without a ladder of some sort. The flame you see there is a bonfire. They exist all across the land. If you are tired,
Oops, sorry.
Try resting beside the flame. The flame heals us. Long ago, a woman called a firekeeper watched over each bonfire. She kept the flame lit and guarded it from those who would extinguish it. I wonder where the firekeepers went. Did you notice any letters on the ground on the way here?
Yes, lots of them.
These are messages that have jumped the fissures between worlds. In Drang Lake, the flow of time is convoluted. Things shift and waver, twist and turn. Poignant wishes, dashed dreams. The messages convey our very inner thoughts. If your will to soldier on falters, try leaving a message. Somebody out there is sure to listen. you may notice symbols that appear upon the ground. These are summon signatures. They call upon spirits from other worlds through the schisms in time. If you fear hollows, find summon signatures to call upon spirits to help you. Do you see the way?
Okay, and then now he's going to repeat.
But don't. May you find peace.
So there's a gaping hole in the earth. We have not seen that yet. But that's not a thing that we're going to be dealing with for a long time. Also, all these bloodstains, just like the first game, we can check them out and see how people died. This person likely walked over the edge. Yep, just like that. It's such a fun aspect of this game. I love it. So I'm going to check out these houses here, and then we're going to talk to that person. This video is going to go long. I think most of my Dark Souls videos here are going to go a little bit longer on average. But I want to get all of this stuff out of the way now so that we can have some fun in the next video. Actually go explore and kill things. So, nameless soldier and some life gems. This place is locked. There's a person right here on the ground next to it, though.
Who are you? Oh, it doesn't matter. Just help me open this door. I packed my tools in here, seeing it was vacant, but now somebody's gone and locked the door. I'm a blacksmith. I'm nothing without my tools. Bring me that key. Chop, chop.
So that's our blacksmith. We can't use him until we can get that door open, so we'll be figuring that out later. So if we head up here, I'm going to check out this path kind of on the side first. Because there is something interesting. There's some items here, real quick. Homeward Bones. Fantastic. Are you ready? Don't you dare. This is an interesting stone, the Victor's Stone. So we can offer awe stones, which we don't have any of, or we can enter the Covenant. So this will set you upon an arduous path. Okay, to join the Covenant. Apparently, and I don't know for sure, I have not actually joined this Covenant, but apparently it kicks the game difficulty up a notch as though you're in New Game Plus. So it just like makes everything like 50% tougher, hit 50% harder, drop, a lot more souls, but it just makes the game a whole heck of a lot more difficult. Maybe on a future playthrough, not something I'm ready for yet. We are going to drop down here and check this out real quick. A lot of blood, a lot of messages. There's something here. This contraption does not move. We'll have to figure that out later. There's like a gate here. But interestingly, there's an item and lots of bloodstains that we can't get to out there. So this contraption is going to have something to do with that. I'm assuming that'll happen later on in the game. The reason I want to go down and explore this way, though, is because I do know that there's a treasure chest down here. And it's a pretty good one. Chest left. Shield ahead. Yes, so inside this big old, like, iron treasure chest, shield. And I think we can equip it right now? Yeah, only 6 strength to wield, 75% physical damage reduction, but 75% is better than 0% damage reduction. Try control, switch ahead. So this is what that guy was talking about. Wary of door in short visions of scroll. Don't know what that means. Yes, and messages don't physically or visibly show up when they're in the water, so that's interesting. But there's like a gate here, and there's no obvious or immediate way to open it. And this stumps a lot of people. But if you follow these helpful messages, there's a pole chain on the wall right there. So again, good introduction to Dark Souls and just kind of some of the problems. I'm actually not going to go through there. That's how you get to Hyde's Tower of Flame. And there's a bonfire not too far in, but you kind of have to get past an enemy first. And I do not feel adequately prepared to deal with that enemy because I'm level 1 with the crappiest equipment in the world, a really crappy dagger, and a really crappy shield that I can just barely use. So we'll deal with that stuff later. Also, fun fact, so other than being able to, like, you know, wield your weapon with both hands, you can also, excuse me, you can also wield whatever you have in your left hand with both hands. So, two-handed shield. Which we use as a weapon, which is odd. Life gem! Let me out of here. Aha! Here's the gaping hole in the middle of the world. And the reason he says don't bother trying to jump down there, you'll never survive, there's items down there you can see. And like little scaffolding and stuff. And I know that we won't be able to survive if we try to go down there. Tough enemy ahead, but try luring it out. Treasure ahead. So this is something I do know about. There's a well here, there's a rock on the well. You want to attack this rock. Very important. There's an Estus Flask Shard. We'll be using that here soon enough. This building's locked. We'll check out this one. So this guy right here is going to be our merchant.
Hello there. Welcome to my shop. I'm Morlin, and I sell armor. Oh, sorry, Please do have a look at my wares. I could really use the business. If you'd be so kind.
So he sells some stuff. We can't afford it. Starting armor. This is a lot of the armor that the other classes would start the game with. So not super useful for them. Probably going to try to buy some of this stuff when I get the chance. And then he sells some shields too.
I do hope I see you again.
Also, there's a ladder back here. I feel like a lot of people probably missed this. I missed it the first time I played, but I saw it on a subsequent return to check this guy out. See if he had anything fun to sell. So we have a couple of Titanite shards. Doesn't really matter because we can't deal with the blacksmith yet. There's this other house here that I glossed over. We'll come in here and check this one out. This is a fun one. This is my favorite building. It's got a cat. We can talk to the cat.
Oh, undead are we? And one without much time remaining. Just about ready to fall apart, I'd say. Not exactly the time to be chatting with a cat. Well, suit yourself. Oh yes, you may call me Shalqua. Enchanté. So, what did you want anyway? Ooh, you smell wonderful.
So, sweet Shalquar here, who I really, really like for such a goofy NPC. We can buy some odd rings from her. Ring of the Evil Eye, absorb HP from each foe that you defeat, which is like HP recovery. It doesn't extend your HP or anything. Silver Cat Ring reduces damage from falling. Expensive as heck. Holy cow. That seems really helpful to have. Red Eye Ring, easier to be detected by enemies. Not sure that's a thing that we want. Name Engraved Ring, easier to connect to players who chose the same god. I think this will let you do PvP, co-op, whatever. It'll help you connect online to players in the same covenant. I think that's what it means. I'm not positive. Ring of Whispers can hear the voices of foes. No idea what this does. Worn by Roy the Explorer, hear the inner voices of surrounding foes. Useful for locating hidden enemies, and perhaps for a few other things as well. So that last line, perhaps for a few other things as well, makes me think this is going to be cool for maybe, like, secrets or something? I don't know. I'm curious about that one. I want to check that ring out. Homeward Bones, returning to the last bonfire you rested at. Prism Stones, you can use them to drop. They'll let out like a shriek. I'm assuming that they are the same as in Dark Souls 1, where they let out a shriek if the fall would kill you. Otherwise, you can use them like to light your path or to mark a path or something. Alluring Skulls will attract certain types of enemies when you throw them. Lloyd's Talismans will block Estus Flask recovery within a limited area. Pretty handy if you're doing lots of PvP. Or if you're being invaded, you can throw an Estus Flask and stuff like that. They're kind of handy. They're a PvP item, though. Also, we can talk to her about covenants. We can see our status in all the covenants that we've joined, our rank and that sort of thing. We can abandon covenants. We can talk to her.
Nothing suited you, I presume? Well, that's dismaying.
We'll have to come back and talk to her some more later. I do want to talk to this other person here really quick so that we can wrap up this video and get to the action. And this is going to be a very important NPC. She's kind of our quest giver, I guess, for lack of a better term.
Are you the next monarch? Or merely a pawn of fate? Bearer of the curse, I will remain by your side till this frail hope shatters. Take this with you. May it ease your journey.
Ooh, see, and we got our first Estus Flask.
Go on and see the king. He who made Drangleic what it once was. He who peered at the essence of the soul. King Vendrick.
And now we may level up by the power of the Emerald Herald, although not quite now yet. So go seek out King Vendrick is the gist of what she told us, and I think that's generally our goal for this game. Go seek out King Vendrick, see if he knows how to break this curse that has been placed upon us for whatever reason. And he's going to be at the, the gates of the castle, or he's going to be in the castle or something. I don't know.
Bearer of the curse, seek misery, for misery will lead you to greater, stronger souls. You will never meet the king with a soul so frail and pallid.
So, in order to meet the king, we need to enhance our soul.
Seek those whose names are unutterable. The four endowed with immense souls. Their souls will serve as beacons. Once you have found them, return here to me, so that hope will not fade away.
So, to enhance our own soul, she recommends that we seek out the 4 unnamed creatures, beings, entities, with the, immense legendary souls. Similar to what the dude who's, the crestfallen guy who's sitting up at the, that monument thing. Similar to what he told us about those 4. So, seek out those 4. Presumably they're going to let us enhance our own soul so that we can go visit the king? So that something about, hopefully we can undo the curse that's causing us to become undead and hollow.
Is that a shard you found? Here, let me see it, so that I may help you to see light, to see hope, however faint it might be.
So that shard that she's referring to will let us upgrade our Estus Flask. It's the shard that we pulled from the well. It was on that body that came out of the well when we knocked the rock in. Yay, Estus Flask has been strengthened. By which it means we have 2 Estus Flasks now, so we can talk to her some more.
Over the hill and past the forest is the king's castle, where a man peered straight into the essence of the soul, but whatever came of it. Those who come to Drangleic seeking salvation soon lose hope and turn hollow. It happens to them all, sooner or later. That blue knight at the base of the tower, his spirit is already broken, although he does offer sound advice. Perhaps he is a foreshadowing of your own future. That tiny thing inside the ruins, an ancient being that will mock your very existence. She imparts sound wisdom, provided you find her on a good day.
I have no idea what she's referring to with that comment. Tiny thing inside the ruins.
The sign you bear will drain your very souls, and without souls, you will turn hollow. Stay strong. Do not lose hope, even when you have precious little time.
Oh, unless she's referring to the cat, that might be. Anyway, so we can level up here. I think we have enough souls to level up once. Yeah, 500 souls. And honestly, right now, strength is going to be the most important thing that we can level up for the first handful of levels, purely so that I can wield useful weapons other than the dagger, and better shields. So that's what my first handful of levels are going to be focusing on. And a little bit of dex. We need to get up to about like 10 dexterity or so that we can wield some swords and things like that. So, okay, that's it for this video. It's been a very long one, but we've gotten a huge chunk of the story and sort of the bureaucratic stuff out of the way. We are going to be grabbing a last couple of items that are floating around here that'll be helpful for us, and then we're heading into that tunnel, following all the bloodstains, I guess, and we're gonna, you know, dive into the game. So thanks for joining me, everyone, and I will see you all next time.